Hello, today we're going to teach you about Newton's laws of motion. These laws were published in 1687 by Sir Isaac Newton, and their purpose is to describe the relationship between an object, the forces that act upon it, and the motion in response to those forces. There are 3 laws of motion that Newton created. In this video, we will explain each law and then show you some examples using football. In his first law, Newton explains that an object either remains at rest or continues to move at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an outside force.
Yeah, so I'm going to hit you, and you're going to go.
To be able to move at a constant speed, an object needs inertia, or the tendency to keep moving in the absence of friction. The more mass an object has, the more inertia it has, which makes it more difficult to move and more difficult to stop once it's moving. If you've ever seen a football game, you would know that there's lots of force put on both objects and people. Every bit of that has to do with these laws. When a player is running and no one hits or tackles him, he can continue until he uses the friction between his feet and the ground to stop him. Sadly, it isn't always like this. Sometimes there are outside forces, or in this case, the opposing team, and if the force of another player is greater than the force you exert on them, it will stop you. Newton's second law explains how to figure out how much force an object has by multiplying its mass by its acceleration. Let's say Matthew has a mass of 6 kilograms and he's running toward an opposing player at an acceleration of 3 meters per second. The force that he exerts on the player would then be 18 newtons. Finally, Newton's third law states that for every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. Depending on the mass of the other object, this force may or may not be enough to keep it from moving when it's hit. For example, if you hit another player, they will exert a force on you, but it may not be enough to stop you. But maybe if you're catching a ball, for example, the force exerted by your hands is usually enough to stop the ball.